this truth. I don't know if you heard me. Shalom, Apostle Tahar coming back at you with this truth, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Kakwadash. And I'm going to entitle this video, O Daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. And this is from Psalms 137, verse 8. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be, 9th verse, that taketh thy little ones and dash them against the stones. So what I did was I put in daughter of Babylon in the blue letter to see how many times it came up. Before that, I just put in Babylon. When you put in Babylon, you get a references to ancient pagan Babylon, and then you'll get references to, Babylon the Great or the daughter of Babylon, which are two separate things, two separate time periods, which you that have been in this truth for X amount of years, you know that. So I'm singing to the choir. This goes out, I'm explaining it because this goes out to the people that are new in this thing, because we're teaching two lessons. We're teaching, sometimes the spirit gets on you and you go a little advanced, you put some meat in your lessons, and then sometimes you got to give them milk, and then sometimes you give them milk and meat. And you have a lot of men, I would say, that bug out because they eat the meat and they should be just drinking milk. They try to get deeper than their teachers. Anyway, so I put in daughter Babylon. Like I said, I put in Babylon, and a whole bunch of scriptures came up. I may go back to that word, but then I put in daughter Babylon, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you have Micah 4, which says, O daughter of Zion, and then it says Babylon down into the verse. So we'll read these, but before I go into that, I want to I also have an account on Odyssey, and everyone in GMS should have an account on Odyssey, because there's certain videos that you do that are controversial, or should I say controversy, inside joke, that if you put on YouTube, it'll be taken down. But if you put it on Odyssey, you can be as controversial as you want, and they won't take it down as of yet. Now, okay, so this was a notification sent to my Odyssey page. And as you can see, War News 24/7, that's a actual site. Main issues, national issues, international war monitor, defense security, analysts, more. So it says here, and this is news, and I just got finished watching Mike of the RTD Rethink the Dollar. He did like a 14-minute video dealing with the breaking news as of yesterday, 2 days ago, that it's at the point where China is considering buying oil from the Saudi government, but instead of using FRN's, Federal Reserve notes, US dollars, so you can understand, they're going to use yuans, which is the Chinese dollar. Now, what you have is a world, let me look that up. There's lessons within lessons. World. And Mike of the RTD explained it very good in very little time. It was like not even 15 minutes, and he broke down a lot of things. I believe he showed a chart of governments that had the reserve currency. The last one before the U.S. was, Great Britain, England. So let me see, world reserve currency. Which also is known as world reserve oil. And the US dollar is also known as, what is that? What's the term just came to me and went? Petrodollar. So I may look that up. So all these major nations, they have to deal with each other whether they like it or not, because we're dealing with global issues now. So, okay, world reserve currency. Okay, let's see what that says. It says United States dollar, which is the FRN, Federal Reserve note, has been the world's primary reserve currency for over 60 years. So let's go back 60 years. Okay, we can, it should be the 40s, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. It should be close to 70 years. Anyway, it says the United States dollar has been the world's primary reserve currency. So in a global sense, when you do world trade and you pay for it, you have to convert your money into US dollars or Federal Reserve notes. And then you can buy, Russia can buy from Saudi Arabia, or Germany can buy oil from Iraq. And that was the war in Iraq was all about the Iraqi government no longer wanted to deal with, we're talking about the early 90s, 91, 92. They said, they pretty much said, F America, we're gonna deal with euros, because the euro has been stronger than the US dollar for years. It started off under, it wasn't as strong as the US dollar or the Federal Reserve note, but it became stronger than the US. Consistently, it's been stronger than the US note. And the strongest dollar out there is the British pound. So when they say, well, America, the US has the strongest, their strength lies in their GDP. What is that? Gross domestic product. Look that up. Anyway, see, when you get into these scriptures, you get into you gotta know geopolitics. It's something that Vocab Malone doesn't understand. So he doesn't know what's going on. See, Vocab Malone doesn't understand what's going on with the invasion of Russia into the Ukraine. He doesn't understand that's a fulfillment of prophecy. The Most High is propping up the Gogites. That's my word. Anyway, it says which are the Russians, the ancient Scythians, which are a warlike people. The Rush, which is a warlike people. Anyway, it says the United States dollar has been the world's primary reserve currency for over 60 years. Yeah, they said over 60 years. So we're talking, what, 70 going on 80 years? Under the Bretton Woods system, the dollar was pegged to gold, and most other currencies were pegged to the dollar. Now, is the dollar pegged to gold today? No. 71, Nixon took the gold off the market. See, what happened was the dollar, going back prior to the early 30s, let's say prior to the Great Depression of 29, everything was based upon gold. The dollar, a $20 gold certificate can buy you 1 troy ounce of gold. I mean, yeah, gold. And then a $1 silver certificate can buy you 1 ounce of silver. So how much is gold today? Almost 2,000. It's hitting 2,000. I think it should be a lot. I think it should be at least double that, in my, humble opinion of my somewhat expertise on money. I'm not an expert on money, but I understand the basics of money and how money works. Anyway, it says, that's why I said what I said in previous videos. I hope y'all took heed to what I said. It says, if you don't know what I'm talking about, ask somebody. What did Tahar say? As a result of this arrangement, dollars were used as the main intervention currency and hence reserve currency, because it was what? It was pegged. Let me read that again. Under the Bretton Woods system, the dollar was pegged to gold, and most other currencies were pegged to the dollar. But like I said, 71, Ronald Reagan did away with the gold standard. So what backs the dollar? The belief that it's worth something. Okay, it says, as a result of this arrangement, dollars were used as the main intervention currency and hence reserve currency. Okay, I don't have to go any more into that. Let me look at this. Let me just look at this. Okay, it says, what are the 5 reserve currencies? Major reserve currencies. US dollar, which is weak. Euro, which is stronger than the US dollar. Deutsche Guilder. Pound sterling, which that's the English dollar. That's the dollar of Great Britain, which is the strongest dollar out there. And that was the former world reserve currency, which it should have remained that way. Japanese yen, Swiss franc, Canadian dollar, special drawing rights. That's a whole nother conversation right there. So I don't have to go into this anymore, but let me see. I have a couple of tabs put up. Okay. So right here you have, let me get my bearings straight. This is from Odyssey. This was just sent to me, notification. It says, breaking news, the petrodollar is breaking as Saudi Arabia goes against Biden. It says US hegemony, and I'll look that up in a minute. US hegemony is basically the bully on the block until another guy beats him up. So for years, the US, America, Babylon has been the bully on the block. And people are saying, notice that America's limping and one eye is open, the other eye is closed, and America's coughing all the time and have to lean on shit. I think we can take them out. That's how they're looking. It says US, to give you an analogy, bully on the block. US hegemony overthrown. Saudi Arabia invoices black gold, which is oil, in yuan, Chinese dollar. Yeah, they use the yuan and the renminbi, if I said it right, which means the people's dollar. Petroleum, oil, gas alliance with China or Russia. Now we didn't notice that U.S. was getting their oil primarily from Russia, or a certain percentage of it. So with this war, they stopped receiving oil from Russia, which caused the gas prices to go up. I don't know if that's an excuse, I believe. Okay. I got to go more into that. So now they're saying, okay, we're going to go to Venezuela. Well, wait a minute. Venezuela is the neighbor of America. It's south of America. It's South America. Why couldn't you accept gas from them? And I believe gas in Venezuela is or was, somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, at one time it was 12 cents a gallon. Now it's supposedly 18 cents a gallon. So the president is going with cup in hand, with the blind man's cane and the glasses on, begging for oil. But why didn't it deal with oil before? Because they're a dark nation. They wanted the dark nations to suffer. That's how they killed the economy of Venezuela. They lowered the prices to the point where Venezuela couldn't compete. So now you have Biden. Biden's looking like a real. He's done, man. He's done. This administration is an embarrassment, in my humble opinion. Anyway, so it says here, it says U.S. hegemony. I'm not gonna look it up. You can look it up. It just means the big bully on the block. He's getting old and weak, and he's limping, and he has tics. When I say tics, is he's his body's moving. He got the MS. Anyway, it says U.S. hegemony overthrown, Saudi Arabia invoices, black gold, and yuan, petroleum alliance with China and Russia. So now the U.S. is mad because they're not exchanging their money to FRNs. And like I said, what they did to Iraq was the fact that they were selling oil to the Germans and some other European nations, I would say, but that's ancient history, talking about the early 90s. And what happened was the U.S. said, we're going to attack you. You better stop selling your oil for euros. You better exchange the money from whatever money that you deal with, or whatever country that's dealing with you, exchange the money for US dollars or Federal Reserve notes, and then you can buy gas. But you know what these nations are finding out? They knew from going back from 71, they realized, wait a minute, this money ain't worth nothing. It's just based upon credit, which is belief. Credit means belief. And so they're saying we're losing money because they know about deficit spending, which means you don't have no money, but you got a credit card. So you go out to dinners and whatever, and you acting like you got all the money in the world. You ain't got the money. You're doing a thing called deficit spending. All right. So what the U.S. is doing, they're creating dollars out of nothing, out of thin air, and it's killing this dollar. And that's the main reason why gas is going up too. Gas should be, you're doing pretty good at 4 something. Gas should be about $7, $8 a gallon. It should be, if you adjust for inflation going back to the 70s and the 60s. Gas should be, because remember, a $1 today is worth it has to be worth like $40. You had a dollar back in the 30s or whatever, in the 20s. You pretty much have $40, $50 in your pocket. And that's why when you go to these restaurants, you go to McDonald's. You know, McDonald's ain't cheap no more. You have your kid, your woman, you eat, you know, get something for your kids, a Happy Meal and all that nonsense. And you paying like, shit, you might be paying $35, $40. Oh, going to the movies. But movies are what? I don't even know, because I don't even go to the movies no more. The movie theaters are like bell bottoms. They out of style. Everything you can get, you can stream now, you know? Anyway, I'm all over the place. But anyway, the bottom line is this. These nations are saying, F America, America's weak. And one of the reasons why they say America's weak is because your current administration, he looks like he's ready to kick the bucket. So, okay, let me go here. Then I'm gonna go into the precepts. This is news now. What I'm gonna do, I'll put this in my favorites. Military news. Okay, it says this, I'll read. I'm not gonna go into it, but it says, this US-made weapon has become a symbol of Ukrainian resistance. Ukraine strike destroys Russian helicopters. Russia can't kill West Ukraine's convoy, risk NATO escalation by trying. Like I said, if Russia knows, Putin knows not to attack Poland, because that's Third World War. Ukraine roundup, Zelensky, which is the president, which he's acting, you have a term called the acting president. Well, he's the acting president. He's the acting president because he's acting like the president. They made movies on this, man. He went before Congress this morning, and I immediately thought of the movie Bananas by produced and directed and starred what's this guy? Woody Allen. It's a funny ass movie. That movie's funny as hell. It's called Bananas. And they show you how they took him. He's not a politician, but they put him up, they propped him up as a politician. He would tell them behind the scenes what to do. There was another movie, I hope I say this right. I believe it's called Moon Over Paraguay or Paris something. Paraguay, I think, is an actual country, but they took an actor that looked like the current president, and the president died. It was a comedy, and this guy was an actor, and it was an acting job. You're gonna act. You look like the president, so we're gonna keep it behind closed doors that the actual president is dead. And then he wound up being a damn good president. All right. It says, good movie. Bananas and Moon Over Paris something. Somebody can put it in the description box and look it up for me. I'm not gonna look it up. It says, Ukraine roundup. Zelensky retreats on NATO membership. Italian workers block arms, why China probably won't send military aid to Russia. Well, we'll see what happens in the coming weeks, in the coming months. Prophecies are being fulfilled, man. NATO vows more help for Ukraine, which actually is a declaration of war, because you're aiding these people. Begins planning to adapt to new reality. And Armageddon is not going to take place. The MOTB has to take place before that. So, like I said, I'm gonna put this in my. I'll put this in my favorites. Okay, what I want to do now is I want to get into these precepts. But you got a quick lesson on the global, the way the economy works globally. Anyway, it says, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go read the whole chapter because it's only 9 verses long. Okay. Psalms 137, verse 1. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. So we're doing that right now. When you wake up to the fact that you're an Israelite on a high level, a prophetic level, you weep because you want to go back to your land. You want the Most High to come and deliver you. It says, so the wet part meaning we're crying that the Most High gets us out of here. We hang our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof, for there they that carried us away captive required of us a song. Now Jacob make it, if they can sing, they live next door to Edomites, rich Edomites. And they that wasted us required of us mirth. They took us down and Esau took us down, and then we got to be happy about it. That's why they demonize us. Yeah, we took you down, but you got to be happy that we took you down. That whole critical race theory, they're trying to keep all that history of Esau out of the schools because you're supposed to be happy about it. You got some Edomites that said, look, when we brought you over here from Africa, we made your life better by putting you in slavery. That's what Edomites actually say. As a saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. In other words, be happy like you were happy when you were in your homeland. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Hey, so you ain't supposed to be singing, some guys rapping. It says, how should we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Ain't supposed to be singing. It says, 5th verse, if I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth, meaning let me drop dead. If I prefer not Jerusalem, but here you got Negroes want to go back to Africa, but they never gonna go back to Africa. These Kemetic guys, they'll talk about Africa and Kemet till they blue in the face, but they'll never go back there. Now, if they say, well, you Israelites ain't back there, guess what? There's hundreds of thousands of Israelites that live in Israel to this day. But they have no business being there because that place is going to get destroyed. It says, above my chief joy, remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. Now that's a fulfillment of the Babylonians taking us down, Esau, and Esau took the land as well. He was living in the land as well. He's always wanted to live in the land of Israel. It said, "O daughter Babylon." Now you notice it says, "O daughter Babylon," not Babylon. So this is different from Babylon, ancient pagan Babylon. This is America, who ought to be destroyed. Destroyed meaning what? Complete, utterly destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. So payback is a bitch. Happy shall he be that taketh and dashes thy little ones against the stones. Thy little ones means infants. Now this is what I did just to show you. You can also read Obadiah. Let me just read this right here. Related Bible story. Story is continued that they were not to meddle with the Edomites. Well, that's Deuteronomy 2, having hired an army of Israelites against the Edomites. He overthrew the Edomites So there's three precepts that come up in the Apocrypha. First Ezra 4, verse 45, you can read the whole chapter. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go into the context. First Ezra 4, verse 43 to 46. Then said he unto me, King, remember thy vow, which thou hast vowed to build Jerusalem in the day when thou camest to thy kingdom. 44 verse. And to send away all the vessels that were taken away out of Jerusalem, which Cyrus set apart, when he vowed to destroy Babylon and to send them again thither. So it was the order came down to kill the king of Babylon from Darius. And it was Cyrus that said, we're going to finance you building back, I use the term Jerusalem. Thou also has vowed to build up the temple, which the Edomites, so when you read Obadiah, which is one chapter long, it starts with Esau, right? The Edomites. The 10th verse says how the Most High, the 10th verse down to the end, talking about what the Most High is going to do to the Edomites for what they did and helping the enemy, the Babylonians, take us down. But they were taking shit too, and they were in our land, which the Edomites burnt when Yahweh was made desolate by the Chaldeans, by the Babylonians. And now, O Yahweh, O Lord, the King, this is not talking about the Most High, the Lord. There's a small L, lowercase L. This is that which I required and which I declare of thee. And this is the princely liberality, I botched that up, liberality proceeding from thyself. I desire, therefore, that thou make good the vow. Because back in the ancient world, you made a statement, you had to keep to that statement. Thou performance whereof with thine own mouth thou hast vowed to the King of heaven. And Cyrus is in the Hebrew word karash, which means chosen. So when you go back to Psalms 137, the children of Edom who said, raise it into the foundation thereof, he was talking about during the Babylonian takeover. So they got, if they don't pay for anything else, they got to pay for what they did during that time period. So now let's come back over here. Come back one more. Okay, so we read Psalms 137 and 8. Now we're going to go to Psalms 47, verse 1. And see if we make the statement that Babylon is the U.S. to somebody, they're not going to see it, but you got to put the precepts together. First of all, you got to believe in the precepts. Lamentation for Babylon, which is actually the daughter of Babylon, because it says it, daughter of Babylon. So we know that this is not talking about ancient Babylon. It says, Isaiah 47, verse 1, come down and sit in the dust, dust meaning confusion, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne. Your rulership is going, but it's going down little by little. As the Canaanites went down, little by, I believe that's Deuteronomy chapter 7, the Canaanites went down little by little. It said, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate, So I looked up tender and delicate, right? As they were saying in English. So I looked up tender and delicate, yeah. It says tender. Okay, the word there is rock, which means tender, soft, delicate, weak, tender, delicate of flesh, weak of heart, timid, soft, gentle words. Now, the Edomite man, and for that matter, Jake man, in this country, if you're doing good, you get soft. You know, that's why you got there was a statement that Marvin Hagler made, famous statement. He said, you know, when you become world champion, you know, you live in the ghetto, in the slum, you go to live in a mansion, you wearing silk pajamas and you know, silks, the best of everything. He said it's hard to get up in the morning and run when you're in silk pajamas. So a lot of these guys that become world champions, they were poor in the beginning, and then they went from the amateurs, they turned pro to become a world champion, and they'll become world champion and have a couple of fights. Then all of a sudden, they start getting their ass whipped. You know why? Because they don't want to train like they used to, man. And that's why Mike Tyson got his ass whipped by Buster Douglas. Douglas busted him up. Why? Because he was out of shape. He wasn't in 100% championship shape. That's why he got his ass whooped. And we remember he came to the camp a couple of times. He came to the camp one time with this guy, what's this guy? Kevin something. He was his trainer, the short little white guy. It was both of them that came to the camp. We were telling him that he was, before he became champion, we said, Yeshaya said, this man right here is going to become the world champion before he became world champion, but he was very famous. So, you know, you box, you know, UFC, you know, you're in the top level sports, whatever it is, you got to be in optimum shape. So when you got all that money, you get soft. That's why you see guys that go up to the top and all of a sudden they'll go down because they don't want to. They said, man, I'm doing good. You got soft. All right. So Esau got soft. With this technology, everything is given to them. Them Russians, they don't never get soft, man. They like being rough. Like you read about Russia, if they catch a Mo out there, they kill him. They beat the shit out of him and kill him. Same thing in Africa, certain parts of Africa, where Jake is, they'll kill him. They'll kill a guy that's a Mo. There was a YouTube video on it where they beat the hell out of this guy. They put tires on and they burnt the tires, and he kept fighting, but he got weak. He got a weak. He was a sheep that no man taketh up. He was a lamb that no man taketh up. And there was a point in that video where a police car had went by and it just kept going. It's like it slowed down, looked, said, "Oh, that's another Mo," and it kept going. Because them Hamites, with Jake is in there too, they're strong. See, this over here, you become weak. You become weak. You know, it's mind over matter. So it says tender, soft, delicate, weak, tender. Let me come back. All right, tender and delicate. Okay, wait a minute. Let's see that already. Delicate. I'm going to go to delicate. The word there is ainag. Let me see how this devil says it.
Psalms 8, 6028. I know.
They say we say I knock. He says I know, which is a Hebrew word. It says dainty, delicate. So let me take the word dainty. Okay, that's in Revelation. Revelation 18 and 14. There's another word I want to look up. All right, let's look up the word dainty. Dainty. In the book of Daniel, I believe it's Daniel, the first chapter, where there was an experiment that Daniel put together dealing with, green diet, vegetables, and he compared the green diet, I'll call it, which is post, to the king's food, which the king food was fattening. It was a lot of carbs. They were dainties, right? And that's what you have in America. You don't got to cook no more. Back when I was a kid, women that had children, they cooked every day. These women today, they don't cook. They go to the Chinese restaurant, they go to McDonald's, Burger King, baby, Burger King, inside joke. Wendy's, which is all garbage. And I'm gonna say this, the reason why this country or any country has to set up a draft, because people do not want to fight. So if there's troops already over there, there's US troops over there in Poland, ready to go to war. But these guys are volunteers. But you're going to need more people, so that you set up a draft. So you got to force people to go fight. In this war, they plan on drafting women as well. You're gonna get a lot of pushback, man. Okay, so let me bring up the word dainty. Let me read the verse first. Verse. I'm just kind of just double checking. There was another word I wanted to get. I believe it's deliciously. I should have had it up, but bear with me. Okay, this is delicacies. Okay, the third verse. Let me hold the 14th verse. Revelation 18, verse 3. By the way, Revelation 18 is one of my favorite chapters. It says, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of a fornication," meaning they went to bed. Anybody that has a member of the UN, which is Russia is a member of the UN, so they are part. They have treaties, but they fight. They'll fight against each other under one treaty and not under the other. It says, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication, went to bed with her, and all these nations. He's a good king. No. He's a good prime minister. That prime minister of Zimbabwe, all of them are insiders, man. They said, and the merchants, the sellers of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So let me look up the word delicacy first. The word is stranos, which means excessive strength, which longs to break forth, over strength, luxury, eager desire. You know, when Jake makes it, man, their life changes, man. The first thing they do, they get him a whip, you know, and they show it off. You know, these people in the so-called hip hop world, what they do is they'll live in mansions and all that, but they rent the mansions. But then some of them will come all the way up. You know, like a Jay-Z, he's a billionaire. So he's living like a billionaire, man. He's living better than Edomites. And Edomites look at him like he's a god. It says Revelation 18, verse 14, and the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which are dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find no more at all. So let me look up the word dainty. But there's another word here. I believe this is the word. Dainty. Okay, that's it. Liparos, which means fat. You get this liposuction. The lipo is a Greek word that means fat. They suck out the fat out of you. And fat is also grease when you deep fry food. It says things which pertain a sumptuous and delicate style of living. They're eating the best foods. They're eating quality foods. That's why I said to myself, I said, that's BS about Obama getting the Crown Vic, because they don't eat like we eat. They don't go out to McDonald's and whatnot. They have chefs, that the best chefs, and the food that they eat are non-GM certified, non-GMO certified, organic, the best quality of food. So how in the hell you gonna get sick when you're eating quality of foods, when you're living in a house that has central air? You know, you're drinking the best wines, the best liquors. You got the best doctors. You know? So that's some BS. It says things which pertain to sumptuous and delicate style of living. And the word literally means grease, fried foods. Which is called a comfort food. Right? It says here, grease. And it says sumptuous. Let me look up the word. Let me take the word sumptuous. The rich man and Lazarus. Lazarus represent us, and the rich man represent the elite of Esau. Let me see if this comes up. It doesn't. Let me do this. Okay, Habakkuk 1 verse 16. Therefore, thy sacrifice to their neck and burn incense to their dragnet. A dragnet is when you capture a whole lot of fish. That's how they used to fish, because by them, their share is sumptuous and their food plenteous. So let's go to the word. Shall they therefore empty their net and continue to slay nations without pity? That's talking about Jake. That's talking about Esau. It says, shall they're doing good, so they want to do better. It says, shall they therefore empty their net and continue to slay nations without pity? Because the U.S. is trying to come off as a good guy. We don't know the backstory to that. We only hear one side of the story. That's why they took down RT. They didn't just take it down on YouTube. They took it down on all them platforms, like they did Alex Jones. Okay, so let me try this. Sumptuous lead. Oops, something comes up. Okay, so this is in the New King James Version. I'm gonna go to King James in a minute. It says Luke 16, verse 19, there was a certain rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen and fed sumptuously every day. Meaning he was living good. Let me see, let me go to King James. It says there was a certain rich man, which represents the elite of Esau, which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. Let's go back to the word sumptuous or sumptuously. It says fine linen, meaning they got quality clothes. They didn't go to the Burlington Coat Factory. That's where I go to. I remember years ago, this guy, Polite, he had went, and I actually went to the store to see those shoes. He purchased a pair of shoes. I believe the shoes would, I believe if I'm not mistaken, was either 13 or 15,000 for a pair of shoes with zippers all over it. All right. I remember when Floyd got with Miss Jackson, and all of us watching 24/7, we just said, who this bitch? Who this hoe? You know, we knew that shit wasn't gonna work out. And that's when 50 was, he was cool with 50. And they went to the shop and she had him purchase 2 pairs of shoes. You know how much the bill was for 2 pairs of shoes? I believe it was, if it was not 12,000, it was 11 chain. It was 12,000, damn near 12,000. So each pair of shoe cost like $5,500 to $6,000. How many of y'all go out and buy a pair of shoes for $1,000? So she was like, damn, she jumped on that bandwagon. That's why girls get with this guy, because he's got that money. That's why he can point out and get who we want to get. Because what do women want? They want to live a better lifestyle, man. Now let me come back. I'm all over the place, but that's all right too. I'm gonna look. I don't know if I looked that word up. Deliciously. How do we spell delicious? I'm sorry. Wrong way. Try this one. Man, damn. Maybe that word ain't in there. Third verse again. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So now let's go back to daughter of Babylon. I'm sorry, we finished daughter of Babylon. Let's go to Isaiah. Let's go back to Isaiah 47. So they're losing their power. They're losing their power in this country. Isaiah 47 verse 1, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. We're talking about America, written in code. That's why vocab alone can't understand it. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstone and grind, meaning get out there and get a job. Uncover thy locks, make bare the legs, uncover the thigh, pass over the river. Let me try something. What the hell did I just do? Okay, I almost lost it. We're still recording. Okay, it says, take the millstone and grind mill. Oh, I said I was gonna look up the word skirt. Skirt. And I'll come back to that. I'll just stay with Isaiah. Spirit wasn't with me on that one. It says, take the millstone and grind mill, go out and work. Uncover thy locks, make bare the legs, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness, meaning what? We're going to see for who you really are. It says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, thy shame shall be seen. You know, this old saying goes, you got caught with your pants down. I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man, because the Lord is coming back as an angelic power. As for our Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Yeshua. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness. That's because darkness meaning you don't know what's going on. You got to feel for walls to find out if there's a doorknob that you can open, you can get at it. Well, Esau's mentally, he's in darkness. He don't know what's going on. It said, O daughter of the Chaldeans, America, for thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms. The lady of kingdoms. What should come to mind? Let's go back to Revelation. Revelation 17. Because if you notice, what you notice, that the U.S. is in front and center with this whole Ukraine thing. Not NATO, but the U.S. The U.S. is the official, unofficial leader of NATO, And ultimately, those NATO nations are going to shoot missiles on her. Okay, Revelation 17. I'm going to try to read through this quick. It says, and there came one of the, matter of fact, give me a second. Let me do this. It says, fifth verse again, Isaiah 47, verse 5, set thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, US, for thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms. Look up the word lady. Kingdoms with a S. Okay, lady. Look up lady. The word is Gabarath. Oh, good. Oh, yeah. Wow. All praises. It says lady, queen, mistress of servants. Let me come back. Mistress means a female master. You call a man master and you call a female master a mistress. Like in a brothel, the head lady is called a mistress, meaning she's the master. Revelation 17:1, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore, which is Babylon the Great, old daughter of Babylon, Chaldees, whatever you want to call it, Assyria, Nineveh, that sitteth upon many waters. The many waters, '15 verse, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sitteth, which thou sawest, where the who sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. This is the great melting pot. So it's not the Vatican City. Second verse, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. We read about that in Revelation 18. Went to bed with her, signatories of the UN, meaning they all sold out. All those, oh, that's a great black African leader. No, he's an insider. All right. It says, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of fornication. Now, how did the world become drunk? Through her philosophy, mainly democracy. And they're saying they're fighting on the side of the Ukraine because the Ukraine, we got to preserve the democracy of the Ukraine and the democracy of the world. Well, guess what? Russia is a democracy too. China is a democracy because they have a voting system. During the time of Hitler's reign, that was a democracy. Hitler was voted into his position. Third verse. So he carried me away into the spirit, into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit, and that wilderness is, the woman is America in the wilderness, upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. You know what that's talking about, NATO and the EU. And the woman was arrayed in purple and in scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones. And he saw an actual woman. And it said he admired that woman, meaning she was looking, desirable. It was an actual woman, but what it represented was this place right here. That's why people around the world, I want to go to America because the streets are paved with gold. Then you come over here and you ain't happy. You move into a slum, ghetto, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of fornication, because they passed laws to protect Moses. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots, the mother of harlots. What does it say in Isaiah? Let me go back to that. Isaiah. It says, Isaiah 47, verse 5, for thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms. When you look up the word lady, the word is mistress, means mistress. Sure, did that there. Okay, let me come back to fifth verse, Revelation 17, verse 5. And upon her head, upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, because it's a mystery. No one knows what Babylon is. These scholars, these biblical scholars, sometimes they'll hint on it. Some of them will say, oh, it's America. Most of them won't. So it's a mystery. It says, Mystery Babylon the Great. That's why Vocab Malone can't see it. He said it's the whole earth, the whole system is Babylon. It says the mother of harlots. Okay, mentioned as a lady, mistress, or an abomination of the earth. What does the word abomination mean? In the Greek, we know what it means in the Hebrew, but let's see what it means in the Greek. Listen up.
Falls G 946. Kedeluma.
Teluma. Let's see what it means. A foul thing, a detestable thing of idols and things pertaining to idolatry. Oh, Matthew 24, verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Now, I'm throwing this out to y'all. I know a lot of y'all got it, but let somebody new try, recently new. What does this verse mean? And the Lord said, spoken of by Daniel the prophet. Where's that in the book of Daniel? I believe it's in more than, I'll say it's in more than one place. Okay. So let me come back over here. So it says, in abominations of the earth. You can get a sex change out. You can be born a man and want to be a woman. They change your plumbing. You can be a woman born as a little girl. You can decide to be a man. They change your plumbing. You can be a man and keep your plumbing, but you like to dress up like women. You can be a woman and keep your plumbing and like to dress up like a man. The top fashions, the clothes that we wear are really clothes of designers, which are all Mo's. You name me a good designer that ain't no Mo. Now, one guy, you know, I'm not a Mo. I just like fashion. Okay, you're exempt from that. It says, he says, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. When did that happen? Go back into history. And see, this is why Vocab Malone said the Edomites are done away with. Because we connected the Edomites, the wild man of Europe. I was watching some of the bishops do a video, and they were talking about the wild man, that it never existed. The wild man, when you Edomites and your demonic spirit. It says, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, which are the Israelites, not the body of believers, Vocab, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And now we know that that's talking about the apostles, the disciples. I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Now the word admiration, because he saw an actual woman that had thick legs, nice calves, red stilettos on, with a negligee, with she was looking very desirable, because America looks, when you're from afar, it looks very desirable. You come to America, you're automatically rich. Well, guess what? The Ukrainians that's coming over here, they're gonna live better than you Jakes have been over here for years, man. And Jake sees everything. Even you Uncle Toms are waking up, or you Sambos. Uncle Tom was a good guy. Sambo was a guy you got to watch out for. Even the Sambos are waking up to you demons. Let me look up the word admiration. Come on now. Come on, man. Shoot. Just let me let you listen to the word.
Strong's G 2295. Thalma. Thalma.
Thalma. A wonderful thing, a marvel, wonder, a wonder with great wonder, exceedingly. In other words, John was overwhelmed at the beauty of this woman. Oh, the greatness. Look at, oh my. Are you seeing women, and you be like, damn, God damn, she looked good. Well, that's pretty much, to use that example, how John saw America. It was like a perfect place. It was a desirable place. But in reality, we know what it's really all about. Come on, let's come on back. It says 7th verse, Revelation 17, verse 7. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, NATO and the EU, which was ultimately going to set her on fire, which have the 7 heads and 10 horns, NATO and the EU. So we don't know what's going to happen. Something's going to happen where the NATO nations and EU nations that possess nuclear power, missiles, they're going to shoot it on Babylon the Great, the whore that sitteth upon. First of all, she's going to get knocked off of that beast, and she's going to be set up as a gazing stock, and she's going to get fired up. At the same time, the Russians are going to fire them up, and the most likely the Chinese. The Chinese will have to get involved in that too. But the main nation is Gog. It said, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. So let me do that quick. The ascend out of the bottomless pit is talking about who? That's talking about Columbus coming out of Spain. See, that power went from Rome to Spain. The power seat was in Spain when they came back into power and going to perdition, because they teach that Christopher Columbus was an Italian. He wasn't Italian. He was a Spanish so-called Jew, or a crypto Jew, which Jakes were crypto Jews, but he was like a secret Jew because of it. So he played like he was a Catholic, but he was an Edomite so-called Jew, Cristobal Colon. It says, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they beheld the beast that was and is not and yet is. And that beast that yet is America. It tells you that in the next verse. So who are going to wonder? The people that don't know what's going on. We're not going to wonder. We know. We don't got to wonder, what is this all about? We already know. So we're living in the time of the fulfillment of Revelation. It said, and here is the mind which have wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen and 1 is. Somebody can put that in there if you know. and one is, and one is, and the other is not yet come, Great Britain. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And Russia is not a part of that, by the way. So Bishop Melchizedek, you need to give Bishop Melchizedek, you need to give Bishop Nathaniel a call and tell him it has nothing to do with Russia. Even though they have treaties among these nations, they're not a part of that gathering. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth and is of the seventh. The beast that was and is not is Rome, pagan Rome, and goeth into perdition. Perdition means what? It means destruction. To destroy the whole land, Isaiah 13. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power 1 hour with the beast. The beast represent NATO and the EU gathered with them in 1959, because the NATO was already established in 49. So we're talking 10 years later, that's when the EU was established, and joined forces with them, because you have EU nations that are NATO and some NATO nations that are EU. So if you can't see this, man, you know, and what I might do is come back and pull out some verses and go to the commentary just to see what these Edomites got to say. These have one mind and shall give. So the NATO forces have one mind. Article 5. If Russia, not any nation, but Russia attacks any of the NATO nations, all of them, it's like they attack all of them. That's their treaty. You go to the NATO treaty and you read Article 5, and they mention that in the news. Oh, if Article 5 happens, we're going to war. Well, that's going to be Third World War. I said, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the what? Unto NATO. The EU shall give their power unto NATO. Unto NATO. Victory of the Lamb. So we're in that time. We're in that time, man. I don't know why Al-Azhar made that statement about 2 months ago saying, see, when we get old, we're going to have kids, and they're going to be prophets, and they're going to have kids, and our grandkids are going to be prophets. What the hell is he talking about, man? And the man knows the scriptures. The man knows the scriptures. This is the generation right here, brother. How do we know that this is the generation? All I got to do is read 13th verse and the 14th verse. During this time period, when the EU nations got with the NATO nations to make up the beast, which is the Roman Empire all over again, it says victory of the Lamb. So now the Lamb comes into play, which is Yahushua. Daniel, the 2nd chapter, tells you what? The feet of it. There was a stone that came from heaven and hit the feet of it and destroyed the whole standing image. That's Daniel 7 and 9. We're in that time. The Most High is coming in our generation, not in our great grandchildren's generation. So what is the next big thing? What do? They pull back the Crown Vic. They got the war now. And then the next thing, it could be another thing in that there's steps to this thing. This is phase 2. Phase 2 is put back in the closet. They may bring it back out. Well, they'll bring it out again, but this time they're going to give you the MOTB. And you should know this by now, you other camps that haven't taught it, but you're not going to teach it, because why? Because as soon as you say the MOTB is, Revelation 13, 16, 17, people are going to say, well, wait a minute, GMS been saying it for years. I'm no longer with you guys. I'm getting with GMS. You don't want that to happen. It says, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. The Lamb is Yahushua, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings. What does it say in Isaiah 47? I shall not meet thee as a man, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, I read that, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, NATO and the EU, which makes up the beast, the completion of the beast. The beast is NATO. These shall hate the whore. Wait a minute. They're going to hate the whore. Let's look up the word hate. So they can hate themselves. Thou shalt not abhor Edomite, but they can abhor themselves, right? Let me see. Bear me for a minute. It's 1 o'clock, past 1 o'clock. I went a little over. But that's all right too. Okay, hate in the Greek. Listen up.
Strong's G 3404, Messiah. Messiah.
To hate, pursue with hatred, detest, to be hated, detested. So that's complete hate. So we don't know what's going to happen. But the NATO nations and the EU nations that possess these missiles, and every one of them that possess missiles, those missiles were set up to destroy Babylon the Great. So we got to keep our eyes on that. This is what you got to keep. We're in the time of prophecies, man. This is the year of turning up, but it's also a year of all prophecies being fulfilled. And the average person that you see on the street, they don't know what's going on. They're waiting on line to get the jump shot. '17 verse. For the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, because ultimately it's all man's going of the Lord. So how can a man then understand his own way? I will put hook in thy jaws. And a dream and a vision by night, I sealeth their destruction. I mean, their instruction, excuse me. And this is the Most High's movie. And to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. We're in the fulfillment of Revelation right now. This talk about and these guys, one body in Yahweh Shai. Moses never split the Red Sea. That's witchcraft, man. I don't even entertain that dude no more. He's so far gone. He pretty much surpassed this guy, Ricard at GOCC. It says, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Who's in the forefront of NATO with this situation in Ukraine and Russia? The US. The guy Kalinsky, whatever his name is, he did, the so-called Jew, the small hat. He didn't go to Germany. He went over there. I was watching it earlier on CNN. He's talking about how great the president is. You're the leader of the free world, and blase, so you can get that money. I went over, please forgive me. Isaiah 47 verse 5 led me to Revelation 17. So now you know the whole Revelation 17 chapter. All right. It says, sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans. We know what that's talking about. For thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms. Revelation 17 and 5. The mistress, how did he say it? Let me go back to it. I'm sorry. The mother of harlot. And it says the mistress of witchcraft. Where the hell is that? Bear me for a minute. Okay, that's not it. Let's do that. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, I spelled it wrong. Let me try witchcrafts. Okay, it's in Nahum. I knew it was Nahum. Nahum 3. It's just so Nineveh. That's another name for the Babylon. Nahum 3 verse 4. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms, which is it's talking about of the well-favored harlot. Everybody loves America. The mistress of witchcraft. Thou shalt be no more called the lady of kingdoms. That selleth nations, cause them to sell out through her whoredoms and families through her witchcraft. Micah 5 and verse 12, and I will cut off witchcraft out of thy hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. Because Esau's power is on the left-hand side. And when you read down to the 10th verse, Isaiah 47, it talks about where they got their power from the left-hand side. 12th verse, Isaiah 47, verse 12. Stand now. When you see these different images or these logos of different companies, they all go back to the left-hand side. They're all demonic symbols. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth, from that. So all of them were worshiping the devil in many forms. If so be thou shalt be able to profit. That's how they profit. They sacrifice somebody, drink blood. If so, thou mayest prevail. So did America prevail? Yeah. Why? Because the Most High set them up and gave them the power of the left-hand side. And I had a bunch of precepts. I'm going to close it. Maybe somebody could pick up on it, because the attention span of a Negro is very short. But the Spirit is kind of on me to go in. And what was I going to do? Oh, let me go back to Psalms 137. So we're going to breeze through this. So we open up with our Psalms 137 verse 8, 147 verse 1 on down. You can read the rest of that chapter. Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51. These are two of my favorite book chapters as well. And both of them contain the word daughter of Babylon, or old daughter of Babylon. So when you read Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51, talking about the same thing. Old daughter of Babylon. It says they, 42nd verse, they shall hold the bow and the lance. The bow and the lance represent what? The silos. You put an arrow inside of a bow. The modern bow are the ICBM missiles. They are cruel. So the Russians are cruel. They're showing their cruelty. And the missiles are cruel and will not show mercy. The Most High put a fierce spirit on these ancient warrior type spirit. It says, their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses. Who shall ride upon horses? The missiles. That's in Revelation, the 9th chapter. John described them as horses. Everyone put in array. I immediately think about Joel 2, like a man to the battle, because they're not men, they're missiles. They're the Most High's mechanized army, as I always say. Like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. So who is this talking about? Their voice shall roar like the sea, make a noise, and they shall ride upon horses. The horses is a delivery system, which is the rocket. What is it delivering? Multiple warheads. Everyone put in array, because the missiles are going to come in formation like an army, like a man to the battle. So that's telling you like a man. They're not men. They're missiles. Against thee, O daughter of Babylon. We read that in Revelation 17, and was it 12 on down? Jeremiah 51, verse 33. And I'm so tempted, but somebody else could go into this. The whole chapter of Jeremiah 50 and Jeremiah 51, and for that matter, Jeremiah 49. For thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Most High Israel, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh her, yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. Revelation 14, read that. Matthew 13, 38 on down, read that. It describes the destruction as a harvest. It describes the angels separating the wheat from the tares and taking the tares and putting them in ovens and burning them. That oven, what does it say? For the day shall come that shall burn as an oven. And the proud, I'm not going to read it, but the day shall come that shall burn as an oven. Yeah, and all the proud and all that do wickedness or wickedly shall be stubble. All the same event. Deliver thyself, O Zion. Zechariah 2, verse 7. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwelleth with the daughter of Babylon. So mentally, you got to get out of her, and physically, you're going to be beamed up out of here. Revelation 11, Revelation 18 and 4. It's talking about what they used to teach at the old school, and One West. Oh, we got to get your passports and all that, because we're going to go to South America before the missiles come. That ain't gonna happen. Scriptures speak about us having a great escape. The righteous shall scarcely make it. How far are you gonna go trying to get to Kennedy Airport or whatever airport you are close to? You know, we're meeting up with GMS Dallas and GMS Philly and GMS this and GMS LA and GMS Canada. You all right? Where's his brother? Did he get on? No, he didn't make that plane. I guess he ain't gonna make it. No, that's not gonna happen, man. Let me read this. This is here. I'll read this and then I'm gonna close. It said Micah 4, verse 10. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion. You know what that's talking about? Like a woman in travail. For now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the fields, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. So we left from going to the history. We left from Rome, went into the wilderness of Africa, and was taken against our wills into Babylon, America, and sold on auction blocks. There shalt thou be delivered. So we've been in this land from the very beginning. Ain't no Jake going back. Hey, Ghana has opened up the arms to Jake. Jake ain't trying to go back. You want? Yeah, I'm going back to Africa. I'm gonna get myself together. I'm going back there. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't doing shit. But you're gonna be over here saying Hotep and wearing your dashikis, man. Get the fuck out of here. If you believed in that Kemetic stuff so goddamn much, you'll take your ass to Africa. because they need help over there, man. The two major majority religions out there, number one is Islam, and number two is Christianity, Roman Catholicism, Baptist, whatever. There shalt thou be delivered, there Yahweh shall redeem by thee back thee from the land of thine enemies. And this man is still your enemy to this day. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom. Please forgive me for going overboard, but